Does the idea of making a cold call leave you in a cold sweat? We're going to talk about that. Welcome to another episode of The Good, Bad, and Ugly of Business. I'm your host, Catryn Becker. And on this podcast, we love to talk to all the people because we want to learn what they have learned. What mistakes have they overcome in their life to make them successful? Because while a smart person learns from their own mistakes, a genius learns from the mistakes of others. So we're going to talk about it all, the good, bad, and ugly. And we're really going to talk about something that is important to every single business owner, and that's where do you find your next client? So hang on tight. We've got authenticity strategist Inga Faison-Cavitt here, who's going to give us all the juicy information. So Inga, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you, Catryn. It's great to be here.
It is great to have you. And lead generation, lead gen, oh my gosh, cold calls, all the different things. We are so bombarded as people in today's day and age, from the spam calls, from the text messages, from the emails, all of the things. Yet it's the lifeblood for any business.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit more about who you are and how you got into helping people with their lead generation.
Yes. So I am an engineer by training. I was an engineer for over 20 years in a chemical plant. And about 4 years ago, right before COVID, I got laid off. And I felt like that was my time to really do what I have always wanted to do, was to be a full-time entrepreneur. So when I took the leap of faith, and I'm kind of grateful the way it happened, it was on January 31st, 2020. So this was before any of the COVID stuff happened. And then, COVID, the shutdown and all that went down like in March 15th of 2020. And like I said, I was very grateful for the timing because I don't know if I would have had the strength or even the faith to just walk it out. What I had just decided to do is not look for another engineering job, but to actually pursue my entrepreneur spirit. So with all of that happening at that time, I was in a direct sales business, really working to do that. And that was going to be my source of income. That was how I was going to support myself and my family. But then when all of that happened, I had to completely do everything that I was used to doing differently, like everybody else did, right?
Yeah.
So it was kind of like really kind of figuring out, how am I going to do this? But during that journey was really when I was exposed to, I guess, who I truly am, which is an introvert. And introverts are cool, although sometimes we get a bad rap, but we're really cool in the way that we handle things and interact with people and just really do business. So then it became a quest for me to kind of figure out how I could do this using my innate gifts, because all of the past years I was basically faking like I was an extrovert, spending all this energy being something that I wasn't. But I felt like that was the only way for me to succeed, because that's what everybody else around me was doing.
Yes.
But when COVID happened, what did we do? We jumped on social media. That was our way of interacting with the world, talking to people, because we couldn't do the in-person meetings like I was used to doing on a regular basis, going to chamber meetings, ribbon cuttings, all those after-hour kind of things that you would do to meet people that you didn't know. We had to completely revamp how we were going to do this lead gen thing. And in that time, I had used surveys, and that's what I call like the perfect icebreaker for an introvert before, but it really became evident to me, well, girl, you should really pull this out now. And how can you do it a little bit differently than what you were doing before? So that's where this all came about, and gave me a means to kind of just really step out and do something that I wasn't really taught to do, because everybody else was just doing it the extroverted way. You go to meetings, you meet people, you pass out business cards, you follow up with them, and then you connect with them possibly on a one-on-one basis and see how you guys can support each other or be referral partners for one another. So it was just a total revamp for me that I really wanted to figure out and then be able to share, so nobody else would have to go through the trials and tribulations that I went through to kind of figure this thing out.
Well, I think people love surveys. Like I think about the magazine, the
Yeah,
Cosmopolitan magazine. Like I loved that when I was younger because I always wanted to find the surveys in the back. Like, and survey is a very broad word, but it'd be things like, how do you know if you're this or that, or
right,
answering
exactly,
questions and that
exactly.
kind of, our minds are set up to be curious. And when we're asked a question, our mind seeks to find the answer. So that's a really beautiful way of bringing that together. So
Right.
I love the idea of thinking of extrovert versus introvert. Because a lot of times I will, as you and I are both engineers, total male dominated
Yes.
society,
Yes.
there's such a difference too between how men do business and how women do business.
Totally. Yes.
And I think a lot of, the women that I work with of like, okay, that's the masculine way of doing business. How
Mhm.
can we do this in a feminine way? And so to add that extra layer there of then thinking, okay, well, are you more naturally introverted or extroverted? Because most people think I'm an extrovert, but I need my alone time. I
Oh,
think
yeah.
I'm somewhere of a blend in the middle. So I really resonated with you talking about what we pretend to be.
Right.
What were some of the steps, looking back, because hindsight is always 2020, where you, which is funny that it happened in
Yeah,
2020.
exactly. In 2020.
What are some of the steps or process or things that you noticed a pattern for recognizing that you were doing activities in an extroverted way?
Well, I think one of the first things that became very evident to me was how tired I was
Mm,
after I did these extroverted activities. And um and how I really didn't want to do them. I felt like they really didn't resonate with me, but it was almost like a have to instead of a
mm,
want to when it came down to me really interacting with people. Because at the end of the day, I was very passionate about the product or certain service that I was providing. It was just really the cold outreach that I struggled with. But then I also wanted the opportunity to really feel real and feel genuine and really truly connect with people to find out what their woes were, what their struggles were, to see if I could truly help them overcome them and take them to their destined promised land. And I felt sometimes in certain instances, I felt like I was being that salesy person that was just trying to sell them something and really not finding out what they truly need, which is to be seen, heard, and
yeah,
truly understood. So that I guess that
actual
was my
connection.
biggest aha moment, that when I had that time to somewhat ponder, it was like, well, why don't I like doing this? What is wrong with it? I know that I want to help people. I want to have an impact on their lives, but the way I'm doing this, it just doesn't feel good to me. So I got to do
Mhm.
something different.
Mm. And isn't that the great benefit? I mean, for all of the negative parts of COVID, there were so many great things. I
Oh
mean,
yeah, I
having
would
that
highly agree.
pause,
Yep.
there's
Yep,
not
and
enough
we need that
pauses.
pause. We definitely need
Absolutely.
that pause. And then I think as introverts, it gave me a time, because I know we need that time to think too. We need that think time. So I was really able to kind of think and ponder over some things that I never took the time to do before because I was always running. Something was always going on. If I get off work, got to take my son this place. We're going to a ball game. We're something. I mean, it's just like zipping the
Home
grind and
life.
all. Yeah, it's just constantly going on. So just being able to have that time to really reflect and ponder and kind of figure out what did I want to do and how did I want to do it and how can I make it a little bit different, and then after I figure it out, help somebody else along the way as well.
So, something that I noticed when I was looking at your LinkedIn profile, you and I both have engineering degrees for our bachelor's and engineering master's degrees. And I know we both worked really hard to get those degrees, to get through those engineering schools. And there's something very interesting, at least I experienced it. I'm so curious to hear your experience of I'm an engineer, right? Like that was my mental title. And when I started feeling the urge to do more and help people in other ways, I really battled with the I'm an engineer. I'm not supposed to do this. Or if things came naturally to me that are really easy for me to do, I felt like I didn't earn it because I had worked so freaking hard for those engineering degrees and spent so much time and effort to get them. Did you have anything similar?
Yeah, I definitely feel that way. I guess when you said that I'm an engineer, I could hear my son saying that. What Because I guess when I introduce myself to somebody and they say, "Well, what did you do?" or "What do you do?" kind of thing, and he would always say, "Oh, mommy always says I'm an engineer." I said, "Well, I am." Okay, I am. I have 2 degrees to show that I'm an engineer, and I'm proud of that. And I really feel that when it comes to my business, though, I have been programmed to problem solve. And now
Hmm.
I just get to solve my own problems instead of figuring out why a machine is not working or how I can get better efficiency out of something. I can do that on myself, or I
Yes.
can help my clients do that and help them figure it out as well. So I think it's a cool thing to be an engineer
Amen.
because we're naturally programmed to figure it out. As my mentor Darren Hardy says, we have to do FIO. I mean, if we don't do FIO, nobody else will, right? I mean,
Yeah.
that's what we were trained to do. So I think it's cool to have that aspect of it because we know how to do that.
And people always kind of always, I mean, for me anyway, when I tell them engineer, they're like, you were an engineer? And I was like, I don't think you actually know what engineers do. Like, I think people have such an image of like maybe
Oh
like
yeah, they do. They
of like
do.
pocket protector and like
Yeah,
button up
exactly.
thing. And I was like, well, yeah, that's part of it, but it's
Right,
exactly as you said, it's the problem solving, it's the logic, it's the,
right,
figuring it out, working backwards, all of those pieces of it. So
right.
when, you mentioned that you were in direct sales before the layoff in 2019. What kind of led you to start feeling like, you have a son, you're doing all the mom life things. What made you start seeking other things outside of your main job?
Well, it was one first and foremost, it was because I was around a whole bunch of guys all the time. I mean, I mean, some of them were cool, but as you know, I'm sure you know, some were not cool.
Yeah.
Okay. And the ones that were cool, it was great hanging out with them. But I wanted some girlfriend time because
Mm,
it was just like I'm always around the guys, and it was just okay. I know that I'm in a male-dominated field, and that's just the environment that I am, but I just need some girlfriend time. Can we just sit and laugh and talk and just kind of hang out and just do girly things. I'll just say it
yes.
that way. So that was really the reason that I wanted to kind of step out because seems like it was always a competition. Who knew something better than the other. I was just over that. I just wanted just some girlfriend time, just hanging out, talking, chatting, just having some good time.
Oh, I
So
relate to that.
yeah, that was really the reason why I did it.
Yeah, I completely relate to that. And as you said, there were some that were great. I had some really great mentors and colleagues, and
Right.
but it's out of balance. And at some point, you feel that discrepancy.
Yeah. Yeah, I get the funny that you say that because I get that a lot. They'll say, "Well, Inga, there are men that are introverted too." Well, yeah, that's true. There are, but I don't want to work with them. I want to empower women. I guess because I was such in that male-dominated field and I would have some of the men's wives that I would talk to that for whatever reason they weren't really pursuing their dreams or they weren't doing what they desired to do because they felt like they couldn't. That
Mhm.
kind of bothered me
Yes.
as a woman on the other side. And granted, I felt like I was doing what I wanted because I did the degrees. I got the 2 degrees. I got the engineering license. I checks all the boxes. I'll say it that way.
Mm.
But it was just like, I want to help other women that have not necessarily checked their boxes yet to do what they want to do. I want to empower
Oh,
them to be the best version of themselves. Because at the end of the day, if mama is not right, the kids are not going to be right. And I feel like if I want to have a true impact on the world, I got to start with mama.
mm.
I got to start with her because I know she's going to impact the kids, and then the kids are going to grow up as a result of having an awesome mom. So if mom is on point, the kids are going to be on point, and then the world is going to be a better place. So that's my whole vision of doing what I do and why I do it, and that's why I focus on the women because I've been in that male dominated field for so long that I feel like the women need to rise up and do their thing.
Mm. Oh my gosh, I feel that so deeply. And I'm so glad there are people like you in the world because it's so needed and it is such an important thing. And I think about, and it's something we've talked on this podcast before about of, how the women haven't had the vote all that long,
You're
right?
right.
Like our mothers and grandmothers didn't have their own credit cards. They couldn't buy their own house. Like they couldn't drive. And, there's still places in the world where women don't have those rights that we take for granted. And, you know, what women like you and I are doing now is just that next evolution of those suffragettes
Yep.
that were just trying to get the right to vote. And now it's almost like the right to be
I would really
ourselves.
say you're spot on right there. Yeah. The right to be.
Oh,
Yes.
I just got chills all over.
Yeah, for sure. The right to
Woo!
be.
Feeling
I
some
so
magic
agree with you.
today.
Yeah. I'm so with you there. And to be whatever she wants to be, that
Yeah.
she doesn't have to be put in a box.
Yeah.
Like I mean, so many times since I stopped doing my engineering thing, I've gotten, girl, I can't believe you left your good job. Really? Really? So it was
Mm.
okay for me to be in a job that I didn't like. Granted, I was making great money, but it's okay for me to be like that. No. I mean, I think about all the things that I have been able to do as a result of stepping away from that. For example, my son is in sports. I was able to go to every game
Mm.
during his middle school years. Now, if I was working, would I have been able to do that? Oh, no, I wouldn't have, because something would have come up and I wouldn't have been able to go because I had to fix something. I mean, never fails, right? I was able to actually be able to do that. And to me, that's far more important than a check. I didn't want to sell out for a check. So,
Because at some point, I mean, for me, it absolutely is about the money at some point. I originally wanted to be a marine biologist until I realized I'd make very little money. So I was like, well, I'm still good at math and science. Y'all make more money in engineering. So it was absolutely a motivating factor. But at some point it was like, this is not enough.
right, you're right.
It can't keep me going. But oh gosh, I love that I get to meet all these amazing people on this show. It's the best. It's the best. So let's go back to the ideal client, that woman that hasn't been able to break out of that box that
Mhm.
society has put her in, or that we allow the box to be created around us. How do you help them do you help work with them on what their messaging is and who they want to speak to? I mean, I know your title is as an I can say this word, authenticity strategist.
Yeah, see,
Is
well,
that part of the process too?
yeah, it is part of the process but I think it's an essential part of the process that comes from how you interact with your potential prospects or
Mm.
your leads. And that's why I love the survey. So I'm going to tell you about my survey journey. When I
Yes,
first
please.
started, I was using the survey in my direct sales business, and I was basically asking them questions about what I wanted to hear back.
Mm.
It was a lipstick survey, I can remember specifically. And I would ask them, okay, well, do you want what color? No, I didn't even ask them about the color. What benefits do you want in your lipstick? Do you want long lasting? Do you want moisture? Do you want high pigmentation? That kind of thing. Okay. But I stopped asking that question like that because I was basically giving them the answers that I wanted to hear back
Mm.
instead of just asking them, well, what is your biggest struggle with lipstick? And you know what I found out? None of that stuff that I was asking did they say. They didn't say they wanted moisture. They didn't say they wanted high pigmentation. They didn't say none of that stuff. You know what they said? I just want to find a color that looks good on my complexion.
Mm.
So when it comes to messaging and you're trying to connect with the person on the other side of whatever you're sending, if somebody has already told you that's what they're looking for, then that's what you ask. Girl, have you ever wondered where you can find the lip color that looks perfect on your complexion or makes your complexion pop?
Mm.
That's the question that's going to resonate with her because you just got a survey that Susie Q told you that, and you've looked over all the answers that they've given you, and you're saying, wow, this keeps coming up. It keeps coming
Yeah.
up over and over again. So that's what I need to ask. That's how I grab their attention because that's what they want to know. They could care less about the color and if it stays on all day and all that stuff. But that's the part that I loved about the survey is because I found out stuff like that that it's not going to just tell me stuff right now that I could then use in my messaging that would attract the client that I wanted to me. So
Mm.
then I'm filtering out the people that want what I have, and I don't have to convince them. So then I'm attracting them to me instead of attacking them.
Yes.
Because that's what I felt like I was doing when I was not being genuine to my true personality as an introvert. I felt like I was attacking people more
Mm.
so than attracting them to me. So as a result of that, they were pushing away from me instead of me attracting, them coming towards me.
Right. And you'll get the sale from like the people pleaser that will give you the sale just to make it stop.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. But
And then
then
they
they're
don't want
not
to talk to me
happy.
never again. Right.
Exactly. Exactly. And then you get completely ghosted.
Right.
And that then makes you look internally like, oh my gosh, what's wrong with me? What have I done?
Exactly. What did I do wrong? Yep.
Yeah. Oh, that's such a beautiful way of putting it, and kind of even just re-looking at sales. Sales is something that so many people struggle with.
Mhm.
And I think it's so much of what we started this conversation of doing sales in a way that's not right for you.
Right. Exactly. Really truly been in those authentic relationships, letting people know that you care, because that's what they want to know. They want, like I said before, they want to be seen, they want to be heard, they want to be understood. So if you're coming at them just trying to sell them something, they are not feeling seen, heard, and understood at
Right.
all. They're
Right.
just seeing you as somebody that's trying to sell them something. And just like you said, they'll buy something from you to get you off, get you away from them.
Mm.
So then it becomes very important that you truly want to be able to assist somebody with whatever problem or thing they're trying to overcome instead of annoy them. Because
Yeah.
essentially, if you annoy them, they may buy from you one time, but you won't have that reoccurring sale. And they're not going to be raving fans for you, where you don't
Right.
necessarily have to pay for um, marketing. When I say marketing, you don't have to do ads. You have people that are naturally coming to you because everybody's talking about you. They're just raving about you. Oh, Inga's.com. She just the best thing since sliced bread. Girl, you just gotta go see her. Oh, just gotta go see her. Yeah, that kind of thing.
And I love getting business from referrals.
Mhm.
It is my favorite way. Because it means that at the end, even if they told me they're super happy and they really liked it, like taking that extra step further,
Right, exactly. Right,
it
right.
it
But
feels
then I
so good.
also, the other thing about the survey is that it allows, I guess I look at it like this way. The referral thing is more passive.
Mhm.
Somebody has to do something to
Right.
get you the lead. So I think as entrepreneurs, we definitely need to be getting leads from two vantage points. The passive way, which is great from referrals, but the survey allows you to be more active, a more active way to get leads. So you can kind of filter and determine who's your person, who's not your person, and then based on how they respond, be able to put them, say, okay, this is not my person. Maybe she could possibly be somebody that refers somebody to me, but she's not the person that I'm looking for. But although Susie Q over here is. So then this
So
is the person I'm going to focus on.
so I don't know if you can answer this question without giving away too much of your secret sauce, but how do you find the people to send the survey to? Like, how do you help clients with that?
I help them because first and foremost, you got to know who you're looking for, right?
Yeah.
So we iron that part of out of it first. Who are you looking for? Who is your niche? And it's not everybody. I can just say that straight up. Although people want to tell you that, I know that's what I was told when I was doing direct sales, that everybody was my
Everyone
customer.
needs this product.
Everybody. And it's not everybody. It's not. And that's what the survey also does, because the survey is going to filter out, is she your person, or is he your person, or is he not?
Mm.
And you know that from the jump. So once you know going in who your person is. Oh, I want somebody that is an introvert that's working in the coaching and consultant space. Then if somebody comes up to you and is a small business owner and they have a coffee shop, then you know they're not your person, because you've already decided that this is who I'm looking for.
Right.
These are and then people I have, especially people that are just starting off in entrepreneurship, they get really nervous about that. Well, if I don't say everybody, then I'm going to be missing out on Susie Q, or I'm going to be missing out on somebody. When in actuality, you're not. Because think about it. Well, at least I can say from my point of view, when I've gone into networking events, that's one of the first things you do. You tell people who you're looking for. When you actually identify who you're looking for, somebody comes to mind instantly. If I say somebody, oh, I'm looking for introverted women that are in the coaching and direct sales, well, in the consultant space, they're going to say, oh, I know Susie, because I've already told them. It instantly causes them to think of somebody. But if you go into that same meeting to say, I just serve all women. I serve all women, all of them.
All like 4 billion of us.
Yeah, all four. Yeah, all of you. Does anybody come to mind? No.
No. I've heard it said that when you speak to everyone, you speak to no one.
No one. That's right. That's right.
And I think that's been true time and time again as going through this and figuring this all out. Well, Inga, we are kind of coming up to the end of this interview isn't even the correct word. I mean, these are just conversations with with my new friends.
That's right. Two girlfriends hanging out.
Exactly. Because sometimes we don't have to solve all the world's problems. Even though we're great at solving problems, we can just hang out and just enjoy each other's company.
For sure.
So you've done an excellent job of saying who it is that you work with, but I'd like to give you one more opportunity to say who's your ideal client and how can they get in touch with you?
Sure. So I am looking for women that are entrepreneurs in the coaching and I keep saying direct sales. So coaching and consultant space that want to expand their business. They really want to build authentic relationships and treat people like the humans they are and not like numbers, where they can truly connect with their clients. They can feel real, authentic, and build genuine connections that are going to convert into sales. If that is you, check me out. Go to my website, ingafay.com. Let's connect and see if we're a good fit if you're looking for a coach, or even if you're just looking for something that will help assist you in your lead generation, as that we talked about today. When you're out of leads, you're out of business. So we want to make sure we got that bloodline going, keeping that sales and marketing going, because we're all in a sales and marketing business when it comes to entrepreneurship, that those leads are going to be filled at the top of your funnel so you can get those folks out the bottom that are going to want what you have and be raving fans and want to share you with everybody that they know.
I love raving fans. And for flow, you can have a trickle or we can have a raging river, and we definitely need to be bringing in all the people so that we can fulfill that need and desire to serve.
For sure.
Inga, this has been such an amazing conversation. I know it's really filled my cup. So thank you so much for spending your time today with me.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
And to the listeners out there, I know you enjoyed this episode as much as we did. Hopefully you laughed along with us. There was moments where you were nodding your head going, yes, I can totally relate to that. That is what we love to have here on this podcast. So please make sure that you like it, like the episode, share it with your friends, because that's how we can get this message out to more people. And please make sure to subscribe so you won't miss out on the very next episode. If you resonate with anything that Inga is saying, which I'm sure you did, please make sure to reach out to her. She is a wonderful human, as you can tell just in this short time we've had together. And until next time, everyone, take care.
Bye.